Elon Musk is preparing the largest initial public offering in human history. At a $1.75 trillion target valuation, SpaceX would be worth more than every single American defense contractor combined. More than the combined market caps of Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Disney, Nike, and Starbucks all put together, and more than the top 10 companies on the London Stock Exchange combined. Now, here's the question nobody is asking. Who actually buys $5 billion per year at the largest IPO valuation in history? Well, the answer might be you. Because within a few weeks of SpaceX going public, your retirement account could become one of the biggest buyers of SpaceX stock, whether you want it to be or not. And that's because NASDAQ quietly introduced a brand new rule specifically designed to make that happen. But before we get into the rule, you need to understand why this matters, because the nearly $2 trillion valuation only makes sense if you truly understand what SpaceX actually is.
What SpaceX actually is.
Here's a question. If you stopped 10 random people on the street and asked them what SpaceX sells, what do you think they'd say? Most would say rockets. Some might say Mars stuff. But here's the thing. Both answers are wrong. SpaceX is not a rocket company. SpaceX is actually 3 businesses stacked on top of each other. And the rocket division? It's not even the most important one. Let me break it down.
Business 1. The rocket and launch business. Yes, SpaceX builds and launches rockets. The Falcon 9 is the most frequently launched orbital rocket in history. Starship is the most powerful rocket ever built. And the reusable rocket technology SpaceX pioneered has slashed launch costs by over 90% compared to traditional aerospace companies. But here's the dirty secret. Rocket launches are a low-margin, capital-intensive business. You're dealing with governments, long sales cycles, massive R&D costs, and the constant risk that something explodes. The rocket business gets the most headlines, and it creates the least value as a percentage of the company. Business 2. Starlink. This is where the real money is, and most people have no idea. Starlink is SpaceX's satellite internet service. As of 2025, it has over 4 million subscribers across more than 100 countries. It's generating billions in recurring revenue. And unlike rockets, which are one-off contracts, Starlink subscribers pay every single month. Think about what that means for valuation. Recurring revenue, massive scale, near zero marginal cost to add new subscribers once the satellites are up, and a total addressable market of literally every human on Earth who doesn't have reliable internet access, which is still over 2.5 billion people. Starlink is why analysts believe SpaceX could eventually be worth more than Tesla, not because of rockets, because of internet subscriptions.
Business 3. xAI. A few months ago, SpaceX acquired xAI in an all-stock deal that valued the combined entity at between $1.25 and $2.5 trillion. xAI, for those who don't know, is Elon Musk's artificial intelligence lab that he founded in 2023 to compete directly with OpenAI and Anthropic. It's the company behind Grok, the AI assistant built into X, formerly Twitter.
Sorry, X. The social media platform formerly known as Twitter. Now, folding an AI company into an aerospace internet conglomerate is unconventional, and that's being polite. But from a pure valuation standpoint, AI companies are currently trading at astronomical multiples. Adding xAI to the SpaceX balance sheet dramatically inflates the IPO number, which may be precisely the point. So when you hear $1.75 trillion valuation, understand, you're not just buying rockets. You're buying satellite internet, artificial intelligence, and the most recognizable brand in the history of space exploration, all wrapped into one. The NASDAQ rule that changes everything. Okay, so now you understand what SpaceX is.
But here's where it gets really interesting for you as an investor. When a company goes public, it doesn't automatically end up in your 401k or your index fund. There's a process. Normally, a company needs to be listed on a major exchange, meet certain size and liquidity requirements, and then, if it qualifies, it gets added to major indices like the S&P 500 or the Russell 1000. Once a company is in those indices, every passive index fund in the world is forced to buy it, proportionally. And passive index funds now control over $15 trillion in assets in the United States alone. Here's the problem SpaceX had. Elon Musk doesn't want to give up control of the company. When you do a traditional IPO, you issue enough public shares that the public float, the percentage of shares available to regular investors, is large. The bigger the float, the faster you get added to major indices. But Musk has structured SpaceX so that he retains an enormous amount of control. That means the public float would be relatively small, and under the old rules, SpaceX might not qualify for S&P 500 inclusion for years, if ever.
NASDAQ introduced a modification to how it calculates eligibility for index inclusion, specifically addressing companies with dual-class share structures and concentrated ownership. Under the new framework, a company like SpaceX, with a massive total market cap but a small public float, could still qualify for index inclusion far sooner than under the old rules. What this means in plain English, the moment SpaceX IPOs and hits the listing requirements, index funds, including the ones holding your 401k, your IRA, your pension, will be required to purchase SpaceX shares automatically. You won't get a vote, you won't get a choice. If your retirement account tracks the S&P 500 or a total market index, you will own SpaceX stock. Now, is that good or bad? That depends entirely on whether SpaceX is actually worth $1.75 trillion.
Now, let's be honest about the risks, because there are real ones. Risk 1. The valuation math is brutal. $1.75 trillion at, say, a 30x revenue multiple means SpaceX needs to be generating nearly $60 billion in annual revenue. Soon. They're not there yet. Not even close on a pure revenue basis. You are paying for a future that may or may not arrive on schedule. And in Elon Musk's world, schedules have a tendency to slip. Starship was supposed to reach orbit by 2020. Full Starlink global coverage was supposed to be done by 2022. That's not a criticism. It's just the reality of hard technology. Risk 2. Key man risk is off the charts. There is no company in the world more dependent on one person than SpaceX. Elon Musk is the mission, the brand, and the operational brain of this company. If anything changes, his attention, his health, his legal situation, his political standing, the valuation of SpaceX changes dramatically overnight. Risk 3. XAI is a wild card. Folding a social media platform and an AI startup into an aerospace company is not a traditional corporate structure. It creates complexity, conflicts of interest, and potential regulatory scrutiny. The synergies are not obvious, and if the AI bubble deflates before SpaceX goes public, the combined valuation could drop significantly. Risk 4. Lack of control as a public investor. Musk will retain voting control. You, as a public shareholder, will have essentially no say in how SpaceX is run. You are along for the ride. If you believe in Musk, that's fine. If you don't, you're buying a stock where the CEO can take the company in any direction he chooses, and there's nothing you can do about it.
So here's the bottom line. If SpaceX goes public and qualifies for the major indices, the decision is largely going to be made for you. Your passive index funds will buy it automatically. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If SpaceX is the next Amazon, a company that looked insanely overvalued at IPO and went on to 100x, then you want exposure. But there are things you can control. 1. Know what's in your portfolio. If you hold a total market ETF or S&P 500 fund, you will own SpaceX eventually. That's fine. Just understand what you own and why. 2. Decide if you want more or less exposure. If you're a true SpaceX believer, you could choose to buy additional shares at IPO or after listing. If you're deeply skeptical, you could tilt your portfolio toward funds that specifically exclude it. 3. Don't make emotional decisions in either direction. SpaceX is a genuinely incredible company. It's also possibly the most hyped IPO in a generation. Both of these things can be true at the same time. The fact that a company is impressive does not mean it's...
So there you have it. SpaceX isn't just a rocket company. It's a satellite internet provider, an AI conglomerate, and potentially the most transformative company in human history, all wrapped up in one IPO that could land in your retirement account without you ever asking for it. If you want to know exactly how to think about IPO valuations and whether to buy, sell, or ignore the SpaceX hype, smash that subscribe button because we're going deep on this one as the IPO date approaches. Drop a comment below. Would you buy SpaceX stock at $1.75 trillion? Yes or no? And why? I read every single comment. See you in the next one.